And so Vetu, I think, is a developing and learning player, and as kind of a competitive player, he's able to figure out his options and play them out in a scenario. Kind of discovery, I think, is the key word for Vetu here.
Yeah, he's, like you said, he's super humble. He's super nice. He's very learned. You know what I mean? He's going into each of these events with just a new, pattern of research that he's developing, essentially, learning every step of the way. And I think his deck choices and how consistent he's been showing himself to be are the rewards to that persistence that he's been showing.
All right. One of the benefits of running a bunch of 2-drops is that you have a very consistent early curve.
Yeah, you will be able to actually drop a 2-drop pretty much every game with this new Arthur style of sword deck, because that is what you fill your deck with.
Though, definitely no 1-drop, so you are almost always skipping turn.
Now, this is tough. I would actually say a Swordcraft deck that did not have access to Maisie would have a really hard time with Daria. Now, naturally, Swordcraft has been always on the losing end of the Daria battle, just because Daria can just produce so much more than Swordcraft can on the earlier turns. However, with cards like Maisie, you can actually swing that board back. So I really like it. In Arthur turns, if Swordcraft can get to turn 7+ before these explosive Daria turns happen, I think Sword can actually outvalue Daria in the endgame.
Kool-Aid played for just the 2-1, doesn't get the benefit of Rush, and I think this is actually a smart option. Ooh, drew into the Daria, so things are going to be speeding up for DVA very, very soon here.
I find it interesting to actually throw the Kahulin out early because Magic Missile exists.
Yeah.
Not sure if that was the best threat.
I think he got away with it in this scenario. He definitely did, and this is an incredibly valuable play because you maintain the ability to save the Lyra for a guaranteed evolve, or the Maisie for a guaranteed evolve, so playing the Kool-Aid was the only way to not risk one of those cards.
Right, and this curve is lining up perfectly for V2 here. He's got the Maisie plus Lyriel for that huge evolution turn. He's producing board states that can't be dealt with very easily.
His roundtable assembly, was he playing 3 Juliets or just 2?
I believe he was playing 3.
So it could quite possibly just pull a bunch of damage here on turn 5, and it might just be over, actually, looking at this.
Yeah, this might just be, mid-range Swordcraft. We've talked about this. Still has an aggressive curve, and this is one of the most perfect things that you can do. I mean, Gino is still an all-star at the 4 slot. You don't have to use Evolution Orbs to actually power through something. And if it takes care of a 2-drop or something of the sort, then it doesn't actually go away when it does that.
I believe you can Owl and Blade Mage here. So that means there's going to be 4 damage left on board.
I love seeing that effect when the entire hand lights up.
Yeah. 4 plus 4, 8. Wow, and with the Fangblade Slayer, if Vetu doesn't just fall over to a big Daria board flood, once you hit 8, you're pretty much done.
I think he's done the work that he's needed to. He's been on the draw. He took the risk with the Kahulin early to save his Maisie turn.
Roundtable assembly, you know what that means? It's just a girls' night out, basically, because Juliet is coming in.
That's right.
The storm is arriving here. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is still possible,
he's
guys.
Just sitting there. He's loving every moment of this.
Too easy. Swordcraft dominating Daria this game.
Yeah.
So unreal. This is not what you would expect.
I'm coming to you.
So I really think it's just, can Deviate somehow live for 2 turns?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, it's not can he live for 2 turns, it's can he end the game within a few turns, because there is no healing in these Daria decks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Can he end the game? That's right.
I mean, he's got the tempo swings to try to get himself there, but that Maisie in hand with the Lyriel that V2 was able to save.
These are big followers. They're definitely big followers. I think it's probably going to have to go towards the Ogler and then the Maisie into the 6-4.
But, I mean,
you also have...
Yep, that's definitely the best play. And honestly, Swordcraft really, before Maisie, never had an option to do something like this.
There it is. And all of this is just 1 turn closer to the Fangblade. Yep. 1 turn closer to the Fangblade.
And that was the one big push. Now, Daria will be a good second push here, but what gets left behind will be the question. Will it be enough to end the game in a single turn?
I think you just have to play it.
You got to go for it. Now, the question is, do you play the Owl first just to get something else on the board?
Wow.
Going for the removal instead. Okay.
Okay. So he is kind of 2 turns away, right?
Ouch.
Yeah, that is... I don't think there's any combination of cards for Deviate to pull him out of this situation.
Nope. I think he's too far gone now. Even next turn, if he can deal, you know, the crazy amounts of damage that Daria can deal in a turn, I don't think 19 is the number he can hit.
Funnily enough, there's actually no way in hand for Vetu to remove the Daria.
Right. Yeah, he kind of just unloaded early.
Yeah.
Got the work done like he needed to, and now just has this endgame.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The funny thing is this Geno's even scary because you have to remove every piece of it just to not die from it.
Yeah. Oh, no. What a situation to be in. And there is check on all sides for Deviate. Checkmate, possibly.
And interesting enough, Deviate, I'm going to keep mentioning this as often as it happens because I want to drill it into you guys, left the Dragoncraft deck through, and he's going to have to beat it twice. Twice, two times Dragon. That's rough.
Oh, man. Well, you must save something like the Piercing Rune. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay. Yep. And you can wipe the board, but unbeknownst to Deviate, certainty is heading his way, and that comes in the form of the Fangblade Slayer.
It's going to just rip right through the Daria, and actually it'll just end the game before the Daria even hits the bin here.
Here it comes. The effect on Fangblade says, whenever this follower attacks, an enemy follower deal damage to the enemy leader equal to the Fangblade Slayer's attack value.
And just for some extra value, you know, it's got low attack value, right? But it has Bane.
Yep.
So it'll still be able to take out whatever it hits into.
It 8 defense.
Yeah. Very strong. So I do kind of understand Deviate not banning Dragon because he does have the Vengeance Blood deck with the Emeraldas that can beat it, but can he do it with Daria as well? This is going to be the challenge right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that he took the loss to the Swordcraft deck means that Vetu is going to be feeling very, very happy.
I gotta say, as a previous Daria player, it does not feel good losing to Swordcraft. It feels like such an easy matchup, but when you have a draw like that, like Roundtable Assembly with the early Juliet already played, like, oh my goodness, the damage.
I mean, there was not... Deviate didn't have a bad Daria hand as well.
He didn't. He had a good tempo hand. It's just the Swordcraft deck did a lot of things faster.
Aggro Sword, I mean, bits of it exist.
Little bits. Now imagine if a Quick Blader was thrown on top of that on turn 1. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say it out loud. That game would have been over already.
He would have
2 damage would have already been dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. If the Quick Blader only got 1 swing, then the literally evolve would have ended it. If the Quick Blader got 2 swings, it would have been done.
Yeah, would have already been over. All right, and V2 does have a few options for removal, but his ramp's not going to be until a little later.
Yeah. And not seeing Oracle is not what you want.
Yeah. This is one of those matchups where if you don't ramp, Neutral Blood will just run away with the game. They don't give you the time. We've seen it already. It can just get you. Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
And I don't think the Pure Hearted Seeker is too valuable. It's not like it can take down the Savage Wolf anyways.
Right. And the thing is, with that particular play, you need something to be able to evolve next turn so that you can deal with a follower.
Okay, puts himself at 10. I don't see anything too particularly wrong about this either.
No. Always do this against Dragon. Get the cards in hand, get as much damage as you can amass early, go for it.
This song's for you.
Has to use Pure Hearted. Dragon Summoner.
Yeah, this doesn't feel good.
Hear the dragons roar.
Just a bunch of low stat followers here. Would have preferred that Ayala.
Yeah. Much preferred that Ayala. That he got right off the top, too. Oh, with this summoner.
This is a very dangerous hand that DVA has here.
Now, if DVA doesn't watch it, though, Scythers do exist. So if enough Scythers are drawn in quick fashion...
And you can play the Scythers in Storm this next turn, right? You evolve the island that ramps you into Overflow, and the Scythers gain Storm. And that extra board control could open up possibilities for Fervor, which draws into combo, which heals.
So there's definitely a real out for V2 here. There is a line.
Did you like it?
Blood Drinker's Brand. Not a card that we've seen as of late, but a very good card.
Value.
Yeah.
Because of Vengeance specifically. Getting all those play points back, able to push damage, clear board. I think Deviate played that turn amazingly well.
This is a tough board, and we rarely get to see Belphegor swing. Oh my god, do you realize how much stats are on that card?
Yeah, and fortunately for V2, he does have the 1-2 punch with Ayala into Scyther to clear this board out.
Question is, as you gain more and more play points, you're starting to have to fight against combos like multiple Savage Wolves, Razory Claws, right? There's a lot of reach that Vengeance Blood offers, especially when Vengeance Blood is in Vengeance.
That's right. However, without cards like Dark Air Jammer being put into these decks, they don't really have that much board presence, or as much as they used to. Now it's all about out-of-hand damage and controlling the board with Sabrewers and things like that, and hopefully ending with Emeralda. Nice.
Now, the one pass turn in terms of ramp means that Israfil is not in reach for a V2. What is the way you live? Is there... Yeah.
You gotta do this into some kind of removal. That will help. That actually does take him off of lethal the next turn.
4, 5. He's got 5 damage so far.
It's not bad, but if he takes his turn out to play all of these Uriases,
yeah, this is a strong the Uri. This forces the turn to be Bahamut pretty much.
Right. So maybe you save the Urias for after Bahamut. Looks like he's just gonna throw him in.
Yeah. You cannot. I do think that you do have to consider like, oh, if I commit everything here, then that's it. But when you have the same amount of Uriases to the opponent's health pool, it's such a strong
feels
play.
Great. It means that Sahaquil plays aren't good, like Israfil, you know what I mean? Like super scary stuff. But Bahamut can take these followers out before they deal any damage to him, so it becomes the only play, unfortunately.
The only play, which means there's this extra turn that Vetu just has to
gotta sweat it. Gotta sweat it.
This is off the top right here. Judging by what I saw in SCAO, I'm pretty confident in saying that DVA is going to win this game.
I mean, you never know. You never know. We could see more big-nosed goblins off the top.
Decks. The goblin.
Could see Baphomets into Baphomets into Baphomets.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. V2 is trying to think of any way. I mean, even if you Draconic Fervor, right? It's not like...
Yeah, not enough.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, got there.
God.
And not only was it the card to win the game, it was the best possible card to just, even if he wasn't winning that turn, to just get rid of the Bahamut.
Yeah. My God. Yeah, if you had just left the Sabreur down there, that doesn't feel good either.
Right.
Wow.
So I expected Deviate to win that matchup. I'm assuming that's the matchup he wanted in this. Now, can his Daria deck take out the Dragoncraft deck? That is the question.
We still have yet to really know what kind of Dragon deck Vetu is running. Is it tilting?
Right.
Is it ramp control? Is it Dread Sea combo without the tilting? There's quite a few options, and what's really interesting about this particular metagame, we see a whole bunch of different classes, right? From Forestcraft down to Swordcraft. We also see within those crafts, there's actually an insane amount of variability. You know, we see Daria, we see the Mysteria decks, we see Word Wielder. With Dragon, we see different iterations of control combo, right? With Blood, we see Vengeance and Neutral.
Or some hodgepodge of the two, like the players today are running. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, the field is wide open. You just have to know what you are specifically doing to beat your opponents in these tournaments. And I want to assume that V2's deck is just the classic Ramp Dragon because we did see Canyon of the Dragons, and that's kind of been the differing card in the list so far.
There's not been often where we've seen a player play both, but I think we have seen that maybe in SEAO. But you're right. Typically, once you put the Canyon in there...
Yeah, you're trying to play the grindy game instead. Unfortunately for V2, we've got a very expensive hand here. Giving Deviate time to play these concentrations and get more card advantage early here.
And multiple Oglers is not necessarily the greatest, right? It's not multiple Chimeras, it's not Daria. But given certain circumstances, the Oglers can be great. And again, the biggest thing about the Oglers in my mind is a 4 defense. It's not 3, it's not 2, right?
Right.
Both of which have multiple options where spells can remove them. 4 defense is usually when you think of like removals that are 8 play points or up, you know?
Well, think about everything in the format now. Master Mage Levi, Light John, Dark John. All these things are 3 or less. Very hard to deal with 4 defense followers. That's why cards like Blood Drinker's Brand are very good in the metagame right now because they can deal that 4 damage, that very specific 4 damage earlier in the game. Now Vetu getting to some of his ramp here. Unfortunately, does not have a great follow-up turn here. Has like a Scyther play plus a Blazing Breath unless something's drawn off the top.
Yeah. Doesn't feel the best. And you do probably want ramp because then you can feel much safer behind Sahak Will Israfil plays.
Interesting. Goes for the removal plan here. Probably going to play out these Oglers as well.
Did you like it?
Very good anti-Breath of the Salamander turn that he set up here.
Very, very powerful. And what a board.
Yeah.
This is kind of the height of Daria, right?
And without seeing Vetu's hand, literally played into the perfect scenario where Vetu just doesn't have an answer this turn.
This song's for you.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. I think that turn just blew Devietta.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it.
You need to Scyther here.
That was the turn. Got a Scyther.
6, 7, 8. That's one more evolution orb down the tank means that one less likely Israfil to be played, right?
That's right. And even next turn, this board is not going to be very easy to deal with, especially if it's coupled with the Daria here. And now a piercing
that piercing rune is big too. You evolve for face, you throw the piercing rune in, then you Daria. I don't know if the ramp will work out that way though. Oh yeah, it does.
Did you like it?
And that's, oh man, 8 damage to face. I actually wonder, I think you should play, okay, well you can't Enchanted Blade off the Daria anyway, so.
Yeah. This presents the biggest board and refilled with
The last Ogler.
oh my
The
goodness.
last Ogler.
And a Blade Mage and an Enchanted Sword. This is what you like to see when you're playing Daria.
God.
Wow.
I and milled a card too. There's
Yeah, this one's over.
yeah, you can't remove all cards on board here. The Enchanted Sword plus the Blade Mage and the Piercing Rune, I think, are more than enough reach.
DVA's got to be feeling good about that draw.
Yeah, that is insane. He's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Too much.
There it
Vetu raises
is.
his hands in despair. He knows. He knows.
Made it far into the tournament. And Vetu with some, again, you know, his lists. I really like the Swordcraft list he brought. I have to wonder what the Runecraft list was, but was not able to get past DVA. And DVA, very appropriately, able to defeat both, using both lists to defeat Dragon.
Finally, the first person to make me eat my words, and I love to see that happen. You know, the Bloodcraft matchup obviously built to beat the Dragoncraft deck. And this is exactly what I was talking about, guys. Dragoncraft might be a menace right now, but DVA probably played...